Help. Great to see you through the camera lens today as always. I'm going to take a little bit of a left turn today and talk about running a service business. I was having a conversation with one of our team members and this topic came up, and there's a couple of things that I like to iterate to our team periodically, and thought I'd share those thoughts today after running a service business for a number of years. Some takeaways that I've had. First off, when you are sitting behind the desk, in our case, or in another service business, you're behind the counter or whatever you may be, you're sitting inside of the business. And one thing I like to talk about is what you see when you're working in a service business looking outward versus what does your customer see coming into your service business and looking inward. And it's a different experience. One analogy there, and I think it's a great analogy, in fact, I think it's probably one of the better ones, is a restaurant. So when you are a cook in a restaurant, when you are wait staff in a restaurant, whatever your position might be in a restaurant, you are seeing the restaurant from the kitchen out. When you are a customer going in to eat at a restaurant, you are seeing the restaurant from the parking lot in. So one thing I think is good to do in a restaurant is to take that staff member and have them drive into the parking lot of the restaurant and look at the parking lot, look at the flower bed outside, look at the lighting outside, look at what the entry of the restaurant looks like. What is the experience of being seated by the wait staff and then being served by the wait staff? What does that customer see coming into your restaurant? Is a totally different experience than what you see working back in the kitchen, for example. So in our case, we're an IT company. What does our customer see when their computer doesn't function correctly versus what does our engineer see in the process of managing and maintaining that computer? Put yourself in your customer's shoes. What is that customer experiencing as they sit down and look at the menu? In our case, what does that customer experience as they encounter a technical challenge or a need? What are we doing to service that? One of the things that the other analogies that I will use with our team is the analogy of an auto mechanic. I will say to someone, if we were offering this level of service and you were taking your car into the shop and receiving this service, would you be happy with it? You know, when I take my car in the shop, it's really a very similar business to a computer issue being resolved versus an alternator being replaced in a car. You know, did they call me timely? Did they give me an estimate? Did they fix it when they said they would? Were there any issues with it after the fact? Did they, while they were fixing the alternator, also find that the belt needed to be replaced? And did they bother to call me and say, hey, let's put a new belt on this car while we have it in here? You know, these are great analogies with the mechanic and with the restaurant. The last thing that I will periodically, talk to our technical team about is you don't know what that person has going on today. So somebody calls in with a computer challenge and it's an error in Excel. I don't know. I'm picking something random. What else do they have going on? Is their boss yelling at them? Did they get written up yesterday? Did they have an argument with their spouse this morning? Do they have a kid at home sick with the flu? What else does that person have going on today? And when they call, and now they're sitting at work and they get an error in Excel and it's like their last straw and now they get to call us. So what experience are we giving them in that situation? And just, you don't know what's going on. When you walk up to that table in the restaurant to serve somebody, when you replace that alternator in the car, or when you've resolved that Excel issue, you don't know what that person has going on the other end. And so, treat it as such and give them the best service that you can. James Roten, need computer help? Look forward to seeing you again soon.